Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm going to be answering some questions that I commonly get asked, or I put a poll on my Instagram the other day and some of you have replied on there or DM'd me your questions that you just want to know about me, to get to know me a little bit better. So I decided to make a whole YouTube video on it. I'll try not to ramble as much so I can answer as much questions as I can, because I don't want this video to be an hour long. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. All right, so let's see. How old are you? Surprisingly, I am 28. I know a lot of people, especially here in America, when they find out I am 28, they almost think I'm joking because I look very young. I look like I'm still a teen. I could pass as an 18-year-old, honestly. That's what I get most guesses. Like when I meet people, I tell them to guess my age. They say I'm like 18, 21, 23 at max. But yes, I am 28 years old, born in 1993. What's my nationality? I am full Filipino. I grew up in the Philippines, and yeah, both my parents are Filipino. Okay. What was your first job? So I graduated college in the Philippines, but I moved to the States right after. Because I did an internship and then I kind of got hired and started working in the States, in New York in particular, and I was in the fashion industry. So my first job was actually as a merchandiser in Forever 21. So it was honestly a really cool job, and it was a creative job, so I had a lot of fun. And I've always been interested in fashion. It's just one of my passions, so I was really fortunate to have that as to be my first job. I think I lasted maybe 3 years until I kind of switched over to my now current job, which is in the restaurant industry, but I'll get into that later because I think there's a question about how that all happened, so I'll go into detail of that later. How tall are you? I am 5 feet flat, so I'm pretty petite. Introvert or extrovert? You know, back in the day when I was younger, like my teens and in college, I feel like I was an extrovert. Maybe half and half. I would say half and half. But now that I'm a little older, I actually think I lean more towards being an introvert rather than an extrovert. I find myself being more shy now, or maybe like when I moved from the Philippines to the States. I think that's when I started becoming more shy because everything was new to me. I didn't know anyone, so yeah. And I think the way I live my life also right now, I only have like a small number of friends because I am not extremely outgoing as I was when I was younger, I guess. It's not that I'm not friendly, I just focus on work and then go home, and that's basically what my life revolves around. So I don't take extra measures to make plans to go out or, you know, go to clubs or parties. It's not my thing anymore. I kind of like to just stay at home and chill with friends at home, my partner Marvin and my dog Joe. And yeah, so I guess I would say I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert. But if we become really close, and most of my friends would say this too, if we are close and we know each other and we like to hang out and all that stuff, I'm definitely more extroverted. So I guess, okay, that may be so confusing right now, but I guess the perfect answer for that is I'm introverted in general, but with specific people, certain people, and depending on my mood, I could be an extrovert too. I think that's the correct answer. Matcha or coffee? Okay. Honestly, it depends on my mood. I equally like both, but like, what do I have more? I would say coffee. If I go, for example, like to Starbucks or a coffee shop, I'll usually order a coffee. I don't really look for matcha. I only crave for matcha sometimes, but I won't even have it every week, you know? Okay, let's see. Favorite memory growing up. I think probably not extremely specific, but my favorite memory growing up would definitely be with my family, like how we used to go travel every year to a different place, to a different country, different city, and all that kind of stuff. I think especially now that I'm a little older, I appreciate much more the time and the effort that my parents, my grandmother, and yeah, just my family, that they wanted us kids to experience that and to experience it together as a family, even with my cousins. And my grandma was a big part of that. She wanted to make sure that we were, I guess you could say, well traveled, or to have all these experiences that maybe they didn't have when they were younger. And so they worked really hard to save money, and just like work, and to provide us obviously with the best life that they could provide for us, but also at the same time encouraged us to explore the world and enjoy just quality time with family and learning about different cultures and seeing different places. And that's honestly the reason why I have been to a lot of places, is because my family put so much emphasis and importance on that since we were younger. So we're very fortunate, my brothers and I are very fortunate to have grown up with a family that was, yeah, that was like that. And yeah, that's something that has stuck with me, I think, you know, obviously until this day. And I can only hope and dream that when I have my own kids, that I could do that for them. Because looking back now, especially that I live away from my family, those were really like the best moments of just growing up in general. Looking forward to visiting a new place, traveling the world every year. It's just really special, and we've been to some amazing places. And maybe I'll pop some photos here of some of my favorite countries that we visited. We've gone to places like Iceland, Russia, Germany. We've been to Singapore, Hong Kong, all over Europe, Paris, Italy. We've been to Brazil, Peru, and just all these places that you would only dream of visiting. But usually that comes when you're a little older already, when you have appreciation for those stuff. So now that I am at that age, I'm 28, so I am glad that I already got to visit those places even when I was younger, like in my teen years. And yeah, that's probably my favorite memory growing up for sure. Favorite food or cuisine? Japanese for sure. I like ramen or sushi. Can't really pick between the two, it's kind of a mood thing, but in general, Japanese cuisine is my favorite. The next to Japanese is Italian. What do you miss most about New York City? So for those of you who don't know, now I live in Seattle, Washington, but prior to this, I lived in New York for, I would say, 6 years? Like 6.5 years. So it was quite a long time too. And I think the two things I really miss the most about New York, and I have to pick two, I'm sorry, I can't pick only one. But one is just the food scene. It was just different. It was something else. I feel like every day we were finding new restaurants to eat at, or like bars to go to, and just like that lifestyle in general of being able to eat somewhere new, try different things. I'm quite the foodie. I like to eat out, so having so many options over there, even cafes and juice shops, shake shocks. What did I just say? Okay. Just yeah, just all those things. I think that's one of the things I miss the most. But obviously second is all my friends that I made over there. Some of them are still over there and some have moved back to the Philippines. But it's just, I don't know, I think because I spent most of my 20s there, so I was there I think from when I was 21 to 27, and I didn't have any family when I moved over there. I didn't even know anyone when I first moved there, so all the families I made there, they've literally become a really close part of my life and a big part of my life because they were my family for the longest time. And I'm so grateful, and I feel like I owe them so much because I went through a lot when I was in New York, just obviously like, you know, finding myself, finding my career, lots of ups, downs, and I was completely alone. I didn't have family to take care of me. You know, if I got lonely, I was doing long distance with my boyfriend Marvin at the time, so I really depended on my friends to not feel alone. And I feel like if I didn't find them, I probably wouldn't even have stayed in New York as long as I did. I probably would have even moved back to the Philippines. So, you know, just thinking of where I am today, where I am right now in my life, and that I'm still here in the States, I really appreciate the love and the support that I got from the friends that I met over there, because they just made me feel more at home, and that there were people out there looking out for me and who loved me just as much as my family did. So I miss all of my friends who I met in New York, and I really hope that one day we could have a big reunion, because that would be so fun. Okay, let's see. Next place you want to travel to. So we actually booked a trip for February a couple of weeks ago, and it's to the place where I really want to go, and it's summer tropical. I don't really want to say it yet, just to leave a little bit of surprise. I'm for sure going to be vlogging the whole thing, and even the packing situation, planning outfits for this vacation. We're only going to be there for a week, and all I'm gonna say about it is it's a tropical destination. So I'm so excited because I haven't been to the beach in a while, and it's a tropical vacation, so it's gonna be so fun. And it's a long way from now, it's like 7 months from now, but I'm still excited about it. Relationship status: happily taken. I've been with my boyfriend Marvin for 5 years now. We are getting into our 6-year anniversary this November, and yeah, we are very happy to be healthy, happy, and have each other. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. We've known each other for a really long time. We were high school friends since first year high school, so we were actually friends for maybe 10 or 12 years. Yeah, 9, 10, 12 years before we got together as like boyfriend girlfriend. Yeah, I was telling Marvin the other day that maybe we should do a couples or like a boyfriend girlfriend Q&A, but he's a little shy, I think, so we'll see. Comment down below if you would want to see that, and I'll convince him. What is your full-time job? Okay, so I'm gonna give you a whole rundown of my career path, I guess, because a lot of the questions are about my previous job or my job now. So I said earlier that my first job was as a merchandiser for Forever 21, and I did that for about 3 years, and I kind of just felt that I wasn't growing anymore, or I just wanted something new. So I was kind of looking into my other passion, which was in the food industry, and I've always been interested in kind of like being a photo editor for a food magazine company or a food stylist, but to be honest, I didn't really know how to cook food even. But that's also one thing that I've wanted to do since I was in college. Actually, before I get into that, when I was in college, when I was trying to pick out a major, I was thinking of going to culinary school, because the college that I ended up going to was well known, or like best known for their culinary course. But at that time, I think my parents were telling me, if you're not 100% sure of going to culinary school or like pursuing cooking as your job, obviously, then you shouldn't probably waste 4 years of studying that, because you could always do something that's more vague. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, like something like marketing or business. And then if you're really still interested in cooking afterwards, in the future, you could just go to culinary school, and there are shorter courses. You don't really need 4 years experience, all that stuff. And so I kind of went for an entrepreneurship course instead for my bachelor's, and so that's what I graduated from. And right after that, I went to New York for my internship, and I was in the fashion industry, because fashion and food have always kind of been my interest, and I've always wanted to work in that industry. So I decided to go with fashion first. I got an internship with a fashion designer. I was kind of like their assistant and helping with marketing and, you know, during fashion week and all that stuff. And that's how I started in New York. And after I did that internship, I went back to the Philippines to graduate, and then eventually came back to New York to work for them for a while. And then things didn't really go as planned, so I was only with them for a couple months, and then I had my first actual job, which was in Forever 21 as merchandiser. And so 3 years after that, I wanted to try out something else, which was in the food industry. And I was just kind of playing around with the idea of going to culinary school, because there were a bunch in New York that were only 6 or 9 month courses, and I thought that's a perfect way for me to kind of see if it's something that I would actually be interested in working in that industry, in that kind of environment. So I studied in ICC for culinary school. It was a 9-month course, and I chose like the nighttime classes. So I would work in Forever 21 in the morning, and then go home, rest for like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then head over to my culinary classes at night. Yeah, so when I graduated from culinary school, we were required to do a internship for I think 3 months. You just had to complete like a certain number of hours. So that was really like my first taste into actually working in a restaurant as a line cook. And so I interned there for 3 months. I really enjoyed the people I worked with, my boss, the chefs, and all that stuff. So I kind of decided, okay, I'm going to leave the fashion industry and get into the culinary world. And I really enjoyed it. I worked in 2 restaurants in New York before I moved to Seattle. And the last restaurant I worked in New York was actually a Michelin star restaurant. So I got some really good experience and really got to see like actual fine dining, high quality work and like food, and it was pretty intense. It was a good learning experience for sure, and just meeting a lot of talented chefs as well, and my co-workers was really fun. And yeah, so when we moved to Seattle, I kind of just stuck with working in the restaurant industry, and until this day I am a line cook, I'm a chef. So yeah, that's what I do for a living. And I think that I'll just roll it into my next question, which I saw earlier, which was, how did you start on social media? So obviously now I have a YouTube channel. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I create content for different brands. So I guess you could say I'm a micro influencer. And how I got into that, it's a long story, but okay, I'll try to make it as short as possible. I have always been active on social media, Instagram in particular. Like, I liked taking photos when I would travel, when I was out with friends. I would document everything. Family trips, I would kind of be the one in charge of taking photos, videos, and then at the end I would put all of them together, kind of like a vlog style, and just post it on my YouTube channel, just for friends and family to see, and just for myself to have like a photo video diary, because I am a very nostalgic person. Like, I like to look back at memories, and all that stuff. So it's just always been a hobby of mine. And I think after the pandemic, when everything shut down, I lost my restaurant job as a cook, obviously because restaurants were closed, and I lost my job for a year and a half. And I think it was my birthday, so it was like February last year, 2020, 2020, February 2020. And I remember there was this influencer that I was watching a lot of on YouTube. Her name is Nitsan, and I think she came out with a social media crash course on like how everything works in the back end, how they make money, how they get collaborations, how basically influencers make money, and you know, tips and tricks on how to start that journey. And I wasn't really thinking much of it. I just, because I was kind of stuck at home during, you know, quarantine and COVID, I just was watching a lot of influencers on YouTube, what they were up to, because it was just like my favorite form of entertainment aside from Netflix. I was playing around with the idea of purchasing it just so I could see, because I was just really curious to see what they do, like behind the scenes, how all of these things go, how did they get paid, and like how much they get paid. I just really wanted to know that, but I wasn't really thinking, okay, I'm gonna buy this course because I want to be like them. I wasn't thinking that way. And he actually surprised me by buying me a course, and he kind of put it in my mind that I should try it out. Like, at that point, there's nothing for me to lose. I was kind of already doing it. I was posting a lot of photos of myself in different outfits. If we went out to restaurants prior to the lockdown, I would video everything, take photos, you know, like basically vlog it. I was already doing it. So he was saying, why don't you just watch the course and see if it's something you're interested in, because probably now is the perfect time to test it out, because you are just at home, you're not doing anything, so why not? And if it's something that you're passionate about, if you can make it into a business or your future job, then why not? I just lost my job abruptly, so I wasn't really thinking of like next steps of looking to get into another industry or trying something else. I was kind of just waiting for things to get back to normal so I could go back to my regular job. Just kept thinking to myself, like, this is crazy that you can make money off of something that you genuinely find so fun, and something that I guess I've been doing for so long already. And if I just take certain steps to take it more seriously, I could actually make it a business, make it a job. And so that's kind of where I am right now. I'm definitely still like a micro influencer, and I am working to get to that point where I can make it a full-time job. I'm very aware that these things take time. It's a lot of hard work, and honestly, props to everyone who has done this for a while, because it is tough. It is not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as taking a photo, posting it, and like that's it, that's good to go. There's so much work that goes behind the scenes. Obviously, there are some days where I feel like giving up, or it's hard, or you know, comparing yourself to other people and their success. But I genuinely am very, very, very happy with everything that I'm doing, the content I'm creating, the brands I'm working with now, and seeing how I was from when I started, which was in Feb 2020, to now. It's almost like full circle. Well, okay, sorry, scratch that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't been doing this for a year, so it's Feb 2021. So it was only this year, the beginning of this year, that I started doing this. But yeah, it just makes me genuinely so happy, and there's really no harm in trying it, in my opinion, because I have a job right now that's, you know, paying my bills and all that stuff. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep working hard to get where I want to be with this whole, you know, influencing thing. Basically, that's my whole work situation. The next question is, why did you move to the US? So I think I kind of touched on that up earlier, but basically just for more opportunities. In my college, actually, the reason why I even got into an internship in the States was because it was required by our school. Before you graduate college on your 4th year, they let you take a internship. You could obviously choose to do it locally in the Philippines or go abroad. And because I have a US passport, because I was born in Los Angeles but grew up in the Philippines, I just wanted to make the most of that opportunity to work and live in the States, even if it was for only 3 months, which is my internship. And then yeah, so I really enjoyed my internship, and I enjoyed being independent, because in the Philippines I wasn't really that independent. And yeah, it was just different. It was just a different scene, different experience for me, and I really love that. And I always kind of put it in my mind that if things don't work out, if I don't like it, I can always go back home to the Philippines. But I wasn't going to miss that opportunity of moving to the US to try to start a career and yeah, just have something new. Are you staying there for good? If you would have asked me this a year ago, I would probably say yes. At this point in our life, like, I'm talking about like me and my partner, because obviously we make decisions together because we live together. In the next 2 or 3 years, we'd probably still be here in the States, but we are not closing the doors to moving back to the Philippines or moving somewhere else in general. There's just a lot of factors that goes into it, you know, like thinking about raising a family here, kids going to school here, being away from our own family. It all depends, but yeah, for right now, in the next couple of years, we'll be here. When did you stop skating and why? Okay, so I hope this doesn't become a like super long story time, but I mean, this is how you're gonna get to know me, right? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I was actually like a professional skater when I was younger. I think I started when I was 5 years old, and I stopped when I was starting college, so around 18 years old, and I took it pretty seriously. I was training maybe every other day, if not every day, and my schedule was always packed with like training for competition, just training in general. And every year I would take some time off of school because I was competing abroad, so I was taking it quite seriously. I was in a lot of like commercials, and I was working with this brand called Milo. It's like a sports drink, like a chocolate milk sports drink. I was like their model and their like ambassador for a couple of years, maybe like 4 or 5 years. And so I was in like a lot of billboards, a lot of commercials, and just like posters around the city and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I was most well known for. And I also had a TV show for maybe 2 or 3 years called Sports Kids. So we were like hosts. There were 4 of us with 4 different sports, and I was like the ice skater host. So yeah, needless to say, ice skating was a really big part of my life. And at one point I really thought that I was going to be somewhat like an Olympic ice skater, or just be something in general with ice skating. Like, I thought that was my career path. Is the place that I was training in, which was SM Mega Mall, they closed down completely their ice rink, which is where I trained and was the closest to my home. because in the Philippines there weren't a lot of ice skating rinks. There was only 3, but only one of them was like really close to the vicinity of where I lived. So when that closed down, that was when I was in like 4th year high school. So I was obviously really busy trying to fix my college stuff, like college admissions, getting into colleges, figuring out my majors and all that stuff. So I was really busy with that, and then having the ice skating rink at SM Mega Mall shut down as well that same year. They were in the process of opening a new one, which was in Mall of Asia, but it was quite far from, again, like where I lived. So I did end up training there for a while when they opened, but even at that point, I think I just kind of not fell out of it, but it just didn't work with my schedule anymore. Like my college, I had like a pretty broken up schedule, so I would have classes in the morning and then some at night. When it came into trying to fit my skating schedule in there too, of training like every day, mostly night sessions, it just didn't work out, and it just came to the point where I had to decide, am I going to continue to skate and try to really make this my career, or am I gonna focus on my studies and get into like a real job, I guess. And so yeah, that's basically why I quit, and it was so sad. I still remember the day where SM Mega Mall closed, and I was just there with all my friends, all these girls and coaches and our parents who I literally grew up with like since 5 years old. And it was a really big part of my life, and one of the things that I was most proud of. I wasn't like that great in school. I was always training and always focused on skating because it was the one thing. Sports was like my thing, the thing that I excelled in the most. And I did find a lot of like, I guess, success in it even when I was younger, you know, like getting all these like commercials and brand deals and like a TV show. Like those were amazing opportunities that came from ice skating. So when it was time to kind of like throw the towel in, it was pretty sad. And yeah, but at that moment I thought it was like the best decision. What is your favorite thing to do during your free time? Online shopping. Favorite place you've traveled to? Ooh, that's tough. There's so many good places, and for like different reasons. I would say for food, Japan, obviously, because I love Japanese food. For experience in general, I think Iceland would probably have to be my pick. Yeah, for sure, Iceland. I just feel like compared to the other places that I've been to, it was just the most different, and hence like the most memorable, because just literally as soon as you land, everything looks so different, like just so magical. A lot of greenery, but also a lot of like mountains, waterfalls. The culture is so different, the food is different, the climate was amazing, and there was just a bit of everything, I think, which is what I look for. Like now, if I were to travel, you know, food is good, sights are good, activities are good, and the people, the community, and all that stuff. So I think Iceland was definitely probably my top one because it ticks all of those boxes. And I'm sure a lot of people who have traveled to Iceland will say the same thing. It's just unreal, almost. It's like just what you see in the movies or online. And just being there, we went snowboarding, not snowboarding, snowmobiling in the glaciers. Maybe I'll put some photos up here to show you guys just a glimpse of what it was like over there. But yeah, I really enjoyed Iceland. Describe your fashion style. So yeah, I would say tomboy-ish with a little sass and sexiness every so often. How do you take your Instagram photos? I usually take them on my own with my tripod, or I have Marvin take them for me. But I would say 10% Marvin, 90% tripod. And I just use my phone. I use Lens Buddy app, or just like my regular camera roll, and then I have these Bluetooth clickers. They're not here right now, but I just use Bluetooth clickers to take my photos. Sometimes I'll use like my vlog camera or my Leica camera, but for the most part I use my iPhone. Favorite Filipino food, probably bulalo or sinigang with some rice. That would be, ooh, that's good. So, oh, let me just answer one last question because I saw like 4 of these and I just skipped over it earlier. It was about my everyday jewelry, and I'm just going to show it here really quick. So this one, I've been wearing it for the past week, and I guess I could say it's now my everyday jewelry. I just got it though, so that's why I've only been wearing it for a week. But it's my MVMT watch. It's two-toned. Oh, sorry. It's quite thin, on the thinner side. It doesn't have a super thick band, but that's why I like it, because I'm petite. I have like a small body, so I just don't really like when watches are like extremely big on me. So I think this one is a really beautiful watch for every day. It's again two-toned, so it's silver at the outer part and then gold in the center, and the face is just like plain white. And for my bracelets, for the most part, I wear these every day. I don't take them off. So this one is from Aliciante. I'll link everything down below if they're still available, but if they're not, I'll just link the places where I got them from. And so yeah, this is from Aliciante. It's just like a mini curb bracelet. And then this one is actually just from a small shop on Etsy. I don't remember the name, but I'll try my best to look through my emails to see if I can grab a link for you guys for this one. But it's just like a small beaded gold necklace, so I like to wear gold jewelry. And for my necklaces, we have this one, which is from Midjouri. So this is their double curb chain necklace, I believe, and I've showed this in my first vlog as well, but I'll make sure to still link everything down below. So that's my first necklace. This one is from Lily Clasp. It's their Reggie thick chain. I'll leave like the sizing or like the length that I got and the style down below as well. And this one is just a simple beaded chain from Miranda Fry. I believe it's called the Milla chain, and I've had that for a while, but I recently just added this pendant, which was gifted to me quite a while ago by Marvin. So the pendant is a heart pendant with my initials at the back engraved, and he gifted this to me when we first started dating, when we were doing long distance. And so it's just like really memorable for me. It is in silver because previously I used to wear all silver jewelry. Only recently I've gotten into wearing gold. So it was honestly like hiding away in my jewelry box for the longest time, and when I was cleaning my chains recently, I remembered that I had this. So I used to wear this one every day, so I just decided to take it out from the silver chain and put it on this gold one. And so now it's kind of like a two-toned you know, necklace, but it's not even like that obvious, and it kind of matches with my watch, so it's fine. But yeah, so those are my everyday necklaces stack. And for rings, I don't really wear rings every single day because I do work as a chef, so it's just not advisable for me to wear anything on my fingers. And at work, I don't even wear my watch. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got to know me a little bit better, and I'm sorry if I rambled a little too much on certain questions. I just wanted to get as much information out as possible, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll probably do another Q&A sometime soon to answer the other questions because there were a lot on there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you on my next video. Bye!